You know what makes me want to flip a table? The fact that we've somehow decided as a society that if you're broke and exhausted, the solution is just to work more. Like your problem isn't that you're underpaid, it's that you're not grinding hard enough. Get a side hustle, drive Uber after your actual job, sell stuff on Etsy, do freelance whatever on weekends. And if you're still broke after working 60 hours a week, well, obviously you're just lazy, right? That's literally the message. Every influencer with their laptop at a coffee shop is telling you this. But I'm going to say the thing nobody wants to admit because I'm genuinely sick of watching people I care about destroy themselves over this. Most side hustles aren't making you wealthy. They're making you a zombie. And worse, they're keeping you trapped in the exact broke situation you're trying to escape. I'm Sophia, and look, I spent years thinking I just needed to work more jobs at once. Like that was my problem. Not enough jobs happening simultaneously. So I get it. Your situation is different from mine, obviously. But I need to explain why this whole side hustle worship thing is actually a trap we're all just accepting like it's totally fine and normal. Because here's what's actually happening. You're working your full-time job. Then you come home and try to build a second income at night. And you're not building wealth. You're selling every remaining hour of your life for maybe an extra couple $100 a month if you're lucky. And that money? It's not going into investments. It's not sitting in an account growing. It's going straight to bills that your real job should have been covering already. You're working 60 hours a week to stay in the exact same place. That's not a side hustle. That's survival with better marketing. And before someone comes at me, yes, I know some people need that money right now. They don't have a choice. I'm not saying don't do what you have to do to keep your lights on. What I'm saying is we need to stop acting like this is the path to wealth, because it's not. It's the path to being too tired to think. It's the path to never having time to actually learn about investing or build something that makes money without you physically being there, because you're too busy delivering food to strangers at midnight. Let me break down what actually happens when you get stuck in this. First, you lose time. Not in a vague, inspirational poster way, like you literally don't have hours left to do anything that could actually change your money situation long term. You can't take a class. You can't network with people in better jobs. You can't even sit down and figure out where your money is going because you're busy doing DoorDash runs. You think you're being productive, but you're just busy. And busy is not the same as building anything real. Second, and this one makes me actually angry, you lose energy. All of it. You know when you get home from work and your brain feels like scrambled eggs? Now imagine trying to be creative or strategic or even just pleasant to customers for your side thing when you're already running on fumes and spite. You can't do it. So your side hustle stays small and kind of bad because you don't have the brain space to make it good. And then you feel like a failure for not being successful at it, when the whole setup was rigged to keep you tired from the start. Third, you start hemorrhaging money in stupid ways. When you're exhausted, you make expensive decisions. You order takeout because you're too tired to cook. You pay for convenience everything because you don't have time. You miss bill payments because you forgot. You don't shop around for better prices. You just survive. And surviving costs a fortune. So that extra money you're making, it's leaking out everywhere because you're too burned out to notice the holes. And here's the part that really pisses me off. The side hustle thing distracts you from the actual problem, which is that your main job isn't paying you enough. Like, can we just say it? If your full-time job paid you what you're worth, you wouldn't need to be out here doing whatever random gig work people are doing now. But instead of demanding better pay, or learning skills that could get you a way better job, or building something that could actually replace your income someday, you're just patching the gap with a second and third job that keeps you too exhausted to do any of that real work. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a stab wound and being like, handled it. The wound is still there. You're still bleeding. You're just busy enough that you don't notice until you collapse. Okay, look, I'm not saying every side hustle is evil. If you're building something that could actually scale, that could become a real business, that could eventually make money while you're asleep, that's different. That's investing time into an asset. But driving for Lyft is not that. Babysitting on weekends is not that. Those are just trading hours for dollars in a different location. And you only have so many hours before you're dead. What you actually need, and I know this sounds boring as hell, but stay with me, is to fix your main income first. That means either getting paid more where you are, or getting a different job, or learning a skill that actually pays real money. And yes, I know that's harder than just signing up for Instacart. I know it takes time. But it's the only thing that actually moves you forward. Because once your main income covers your life, then you can use your extra time to build wealth. You can invest. You can learn stuff. You can sleep, which sounds dumb, but your brain literally works better when you're not running on 4 hours of sleep and gas station coffee. If you're sitting there like, okay, Sophia, but how do I pay rent while I'm doing all that? Fair. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You might need to make some short-term moves that suck. Maybe you get a roommate. Maybe you move somewhere cheaper. Maybe you cut back on stuff that feels important but isn't actually keeping you alive. I'm not saying it's fun. I'm saying it's strategic. Because if you can lower your expenses even a little, you buy yourself time. Time to not need the side hustle. Time to focus on making your main thing better. Time to actually think about money instead of just reacting to emergencies every single day. The goal is not to work more hours. The goal is to earn more per hour and then work the same amount or less. That's it. That's the whole thing. And you cannot do that when you're splitting yourself across 3 different gigs that all pay garbage and drain your soul. So if you're in the side hustle trap right now, here's what I want you to actually do. Sit down, pour some wine or whatever, and look at the real numbers. How much are you making per hour on that side thing, after expenses, after taxes, after the time it takes to drive there or deal with the app or handle customers? Is it even minimum wage? Because I'm betting it's not as much as you think. And then ask yourself, what could I do with those hours that would actually change my life in a year? Could you learn something valuable? Network with people who have better jobs? Actually job hunt properly? Build a skill that pays? Sleep enough to not feel like death? I know this isn't the sexy answer. I know you wanted me to tell you about some magic side hustle that prints money while you sleep. But that's the trap. That's the lie keeping you running in circles. The real answer is boring and hard and takes longer than you want. But it actually works. Fix your main income. Lower your expenses where you can. Stop trading every free hour for pennies. Give yourself space to think and plan and build something that matters. Because you only have so much time and energy. You can spend all of it just staying afloat, or you can spend some of it building something that actually goes somewhere. And yeah, that might mean saying no to the side hustle money right now, which is scary. But staying tired and stuck forever is scarier. You deserve to not be exhausted constantly. You deserve to have a Saturday where you're not working. You deserve to build actual wealth, not just patch together survival every month. And that starts with realizing the side hustle grind is not the flex they sold you. It's a symptom of a system that's underpaying you, and you're worth more than that. So maybe this week, just think about it. What would you do with your time if you weren't side hustling? What could you build if you had energy left over? And then start moving toward that, even if it's slow. Because that's the real work. Not working more, working smarter, and finally giving yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty about it.